evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, the largest single-screen drive-in in the United States. We're certainly glad you could be with us this evening, and don't forget the concession stand is open with all kinds of great things to eat and drink.
89.3 Mahoning Drive-In Radio, your old friend Virgil back once again for another exciting episode of the podcast. As you guys know, the only podcast dedicated to the love and revival of our beloved drive-in culture. Joined as always by my co-host and general manager extraordinaire, Mark. Say hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
And King Jeff in the house. Say hello, Jeff.
Good night, Dick.
You never know what you're going to get when you kick it over to Jeff. So really excited as we are to timestamp this, revving up for our 2023 season. And we are partaking in many interviews as we lean up to shine a light on the drive-ins across the country. And many of them are in a different situation than us. Some of them have the option to stay open all year. Some of them are in their winter slumber. So it's a good time to do it. But tonight we have and are so excited to welcome Cara from the Highway 21 Drive-In Theater in South Carolina. Cara, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us the history of the Highway 21. What I know about it is it opened up a little bit later in the game as far as the drive-in history game. Late 70s, correct?
Yeah, 1978.
1978.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know the situation there as far as when it opened? Were you part of the original team who kicked this thing off the ground?
No, actually, we moved to Beaufort, South Carolina in 1996 from Dallas, Fort Worth. And I want to say it was open for the first year or two after we moved here. So my parents, growing up in Texas, we went to drive-ins. So my stepdad, Joe, was like, we're going, because it was less than a half a mile from our house. Yeah. And the first movie we saw at this drive-in was Independence Day.
There you go. So 90s experience.
Yeah. So it was probably a couple years after that, it shut down. And Joe was always like, it's just sad to see the marquees out there. There's nothing up there with movies. And, so he almost kind of put it into his mission to get the original owners, to let them buy it. They were an older couple. The husband was starting to get up in age, and some health issues had fallen on him. And Joe had asked them, I want to say 2000, he started inquiring on it.
Yeah.
And they said, no. They didn't want to give it up. And so finally, it was about 2003, he had reached out again and didn't hear anything back. They happened to call and asked if he was still interested.
Oh, wow.
And so my parents bought it in 2004, April of 2004.
What a dream.
It was his dream. That was the one thing that, that he remembers as a child, and they didn't have a lot of money growing up. So it was really affordable for them to go to the drive-in and watch a movie.
Yeah, and that's something we still hear to this day.
Yeah, and that was his main goal, was giving our community a place that they could go and not go broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's essential. It really is. So is this the drive-in that he went to as a child?
No, he grew up in Wisconsin.
Oh, so you guys have the drive-in bug from your childhood, and then came together upon this area drive-in.
Right. My mom, one of her first jobs was working at the drive-in.
Wow.
Down in South Florida, where she's originally from. And so they both loved it. It was part of their,
it's in your blood.
Time.
It is in your blood. That's what we say, is it's something that burrows into your heart and really doesn't leave. And, a lot of the owners who aren't, family owners, as in, it's been in the family for X amount of years, that's the case. They're coming off of a true love and a true experience that set them on a path. And it
Right.
sounds like you and your husband are kindred spirits. So why don't you give a little bit of a layout, the landscape? How is it in there in South Carolina?
Well, we live in the southern part of South Carolina, we're in between Charleston and
Mm-hmm.
Savannah, Georgia. Hilton Head is about 30 miles from us. So we have a lot of area around us. Our drive in, when it was originally built, it was one screen. In
Right.
2007, my stepdad Joe built the second screen. And here recently, we sold, my parents sold in May of last year. With my mom going into her 70s and everything, we needed to do some upgrades and three screens now.
Wow. So I imagine you guys have a ton of land there to be able to add now two extra screens.
Yeah, it's really helped because I do a lot of Boy Scout events and parties. So it always lets me make sure that I have a family movie, or I can bring in a movie that the private event wants without hurting our actual movie nights.
Yeah, that's become a big part of our business, the idea of utilizing the property beyond the movies. And geez, to go from one screener to two to three. So I take it you guys are running first run movies, new movies?
Oh, yeah. I have Man and the Wasp starting on. I'm going to do an early showing on the 16th.
That's right. You guys are open right now. You are year round,
Yeah.
right? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. So I gotta ask, what's that like? Does it become a grind? I mean, our whole system here is 6 months on, 6 months off, just because that's how the weather kind of works it.
Right.
Is it kind of a chess game with the programming as well as the weather, or is the weather not as much of an issue with you there?
The weather isn't much of an issue. Once school starts back, so Memorial Weekend is like our kickoff to summer. So we're open 7 days a week.
Same. Yeah. Oh
And then,
wow.
yeah, and then once school starts up about the second to third week of August, we go down to Thursday through Sunday. So Monday through Wednesday really gives me that time to take care of the property, do the maintenance, make sure, projectors are good to go, movies are downloaded,
Oh yeah.
pretty much the daily grind. I use the off time to do our private events. I have a birthday party coming up for one of our Marines him and his wife, they come here every Friday night for date night.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready to get transferred. And so, it gives us a lot of time to be able to do that type of stuff, because I'm sure between September and, for us, it's our slowest time. So it helps us, get money in without having to spend a bunch of money. And so we can put it towards projects that we need to get taken care of. And being yearly, this year was kind of crazy. For the time we were down in at 19, which nobody comes out of the house
Yeah.
because we don't have clothes for that type of weather. so, it makes it kind of interesting sometimes, but it still amazes me with how many people still come out, even in the rain. I can remember, the first few years being open, the rain, we'd just be praying to have 5 cars.
Yeah.
And now, I'll have 20 to 50 cars out there.
The landscape of movie going has changed so much since 2019. It has turned in on itself, recreated itself several times.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that the drive-in experience that hasn't lost its luster. People are rediscovering it still since COVID-19. And like you said, the worry isn't as much of a worry. So you guys get good support throughout the week?
Yes, absolutely. If I could be open 7 days right now, I would be.
Wow.
But with my kids, I have all teenagers that work for me.
Yep.
Most of the kids have been with me for 2 years, but they have school stuff that comes up, and it gets kind of funny trying to rotate the schedules around and make sure that we can operate correctly.
Yeah,
So,
geez.
and then also, everybody's gotten accustomed to us being, Wednesday through the weekdays.
Yeah.
So that's when they really try to get on our books to plan their events out here.
Yeah.
And we do graduations. When COVID came along, it kind of put a bump in everything, and so the local high schools and stuff reaching out to us for graduations out here. I still have them on the books. They book with us now to have their
That's
graduations
great.
out. I love.
Yeah, we do a middle school dance celebration, and that
Oh, that's
started.
cool.
Yeah, that started with the COVID thing, and that was really the year that anybody who needed to get in front of an audience
Mm-hmm.
started turning to drive-ins, and
Yeah.
we knew things were taking a turn when they're selling cars in commercials with drive-ins. It's just like, what is happening?
I had a couple people talk to me about how can we open up like a drive-in, and always everybody always thinks it's so easy sometimes to be able to do it, and it's like there's movie companies there's movie companies that will put they don't get the fees and stuff that you have to pay.
Yeah.
So I try to explain it to them simply. You can do it, but legally you need to make sure you're checking with a movie company. I was talking to Joe earlier, and I was like, is there anything you'd like me to say? And we got to talking about COVID, and he said, COVID just sucked. And I said, well, Joe, you got to give me something a little bit more positive than that. And he said, well, okay. So we got talking, and it's like the schools that we were part of Encore Nights doing the virtual concert.
Yeah.
We had to shut down our concessions for a little while, but we encouraged everyone, all of our customers, to go to their local mom and pop eateries and stuff and bring their food in with them, which is crazy for us because we don't allow
against brand. Yep.
And they did it, and we were trying to support our community here, and that was the biggest thing, is supporting your community. Right. And so it helped, and it gave people a place to go and to hang out when nothing was there.
Yeah, that's what we say, is it is an essential community space that every community was kind of robbed of over the years. As I take it your childhood experience was with a neighborhood drive-in, something that was insanely close.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Dallas, kind of like in the inner cities of there.
So your childhood drive-in was what?
I believe it was the Coyote Drive-In.
Oh my gosh, we love the Coyote.
I can remember going with my neighbors, my best friend growing up in Texas. Yeah. Her parents would take us out there, and my mom would take us, so we had a lot of fun.
The multi-screen experience then. That was your experience.
Yeah. The screens were like up against each other. So on one side you'd have one, and on the other side you'd have a different screen. It's kind of cool.
You could just pivot around.
Yeah.
The thing I love about the Coyote, I don't know if they had it when you were a kid, but they have that pavilion where it's just like a kind of a hangout center where no matter which movie you're going to see, there's just a kind of big covered pavilion.
Yeah, I kind of remember it. I was, I was like 7 years old then.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
So yeah, that's incredible. How about your husband? Do you know what drive-in he went to as a kid?
Let's see. He grew up in Tennessee, and I don't ever remember him talking about going to the drive-in. Now, his parents grew up in Michigan, and they had drive-ins. That's where they went. But I don't think there was one close by where he grew up. So when we met, it was a totally different lifestyle and experience for him, because my parents were already, we were already knee deep in the drive-in life.
Oh, that's amazing.
So he got to learn it, and, he was my biggest supporter when I had to kind of take everything on. It's been a lot of fun. It's been interesting. I think that wife-husband combo sometimes is
it's very difficult, and I always say it's very reliant on your happiness as well as your ability to work together. Yep. So I take my hat off to you guys in a bad way.
My parents, they were awesome at it. My mom ran the window, and she actually my girls, both my daughters, growing up, they work
Family
the window.
affair.
My youngest, she's 17. She works my ticket window. Everybody knows her. And
Yeah.
I can't find anybody that can get the cars in as quick as she can.
That's so beautiful.
You know, and her
That's so
first bed up
beautiful.
here was a nacho bin. She hates that story.
Yeah. The old nacho bin story.
A couple days after she was born, and I'd have her up here, and I can remember my mom and Joe and all of us had her like in that little sling they
Oh yeah.
around in, and this has been her whole life. So my oldest daughter was 4 when when they bought it. So it's been a big, huge part of their life. It's kind of funny because I told her my oldest, she's always like, "Well, I want to go hang out." And I'm like, oh, "Okay, you want to go hang out with your friends? Well, guess what? I hired all."
That's the move. My daughter works for us, and my little munchkin has taken on the love of the drive-in, and to see it through a youngster's eyes it's like reliving that magic all over again. You can see them becoming captivated with it. And there's something special about a person that's brought up at a drive-in, whether you're there running it or just frequent it all the time. I say that's my type of person.
I agree. There's a wholesomeness and a sense of old school, and just being simple. Actually, it's just simple.
That's the beautiful
thing. It really is, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, you can't put a price tag on that, and that's why it burrows into all of our hearts and now our patrons' hearts. I gotta ask, because you touched on it a little bit with the young crew.
Mm-hmm.
What's your staff like as far as numbers to run a 3-screen drive-in 7 days a week?
Well, I have 8 to 9 kids right now. I use a couple of them for weekends, and then 5 of them are scheduled pretty much every day right now.
Right.
Everybody gets, a day or 2 off. I'll tell you this, assistant manager, James, I love him to death. He's just so full of life. But he is 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have turned him into my mini-me. So,
give him the reins.
And I mean, the kid, he has a excellent memory. He'll text me and say, "Miss Cara, don't forget you got to order this, or we got to get this, or hey, so-and-so wants to talk to you about this, don't forget." And so I'm like, man, but he's also so detail oriented and knows exactly how I want it ran, how the concession stand is, because we got to run it like a machine. I'm sure all of y'all go through this too, where everybody waits to the last minute to show up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah, the rush. Yeah. Here comes the rush.
Summertime, we could have between 500 and 1,000.
Wow.
And so now,
that's crazy.
We're looking at sometime, 600 head from being parked right to getting in to getting food and back out to the car.
It's I imagine it's a juggle, and it's a shared concession stand for all the screens right in the middle.
Yep. I do have a smaller concession for like quick stuff, sodas, candy, popcorn. Sometimes I'll do pretzels and hot dogs.
Well, that's a fun idea.
Yeah, we call it the Sugar Shack.
Sounds dirtier than it has to, but I like it.
Yeah. Usually like Memorial Weekend, we'll open it up. It's just to relieve the pressure off of our big one, because in our big one we do Angus beef hamburgers, homemade funnel cakes. I make homemade chili for the nachos and the hot dogs and stuff. And our funnel cakes are like our specialty signature item. That was my mom's creation. Her
homemade. You guys drop them yourself?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, come on.
We make the batter ourselves. We do it ourselves. And actually, for Valentine's weekend, we're going to do red velvet funnel cakes this weekend.
Oh, my God, guys. Road trip, right?
Yeah.
I even ordered a special heart ring. So
cool for Valentine's Day. Excellent.
You got to kind of, stay with the times. So, we try to do little things each month that we can add in to make it kind of special.
Yeah. With concession being such a part of the part of the business that drives it, staying creative with it and coming up with new offerings, things like that, that's been a huge success for us.
we have to run like a perfectly oiled engine. We have to,
Yes.
the customers are who keep us open. The customers are who pay paychecks, and they deserve 100% of our best, so I'm big on customer service.
They are your boss. That's something I always had in the customer service business is, these people are paying to come for an experience, and you are really that intro to that. And
Yeah.
it's the drive-in has an instant mystical kind of hypnotizing way about it,
Mm-hmm.
but it can go wrong really quickly
Oh God. Yes.
for people, and they could have a really bad experience if they are not guided in the proper way.
Absolutely.
So, to have a loving crew, and it sounds like it's the case for you too, that kind of spreads throughout your family. The crew becomes family, they're all close.
Yeah.
And working in the tight-knit quarters late at night, the delusion, it's natural.
Yeah.
Everybody gets close and,
Yeah.
has these memories.
It's we spend a lot of time together. Not only do I love my kids here, on last year's spring break, I took them up to Carowinds to the theme park. So we went up there. I treat them like they're my own.
Yeah.
So they're a huge part of what makes us function. Everybody's always, oh, you do a great. Well, I can't do a great job unless I have my crew with me.
Right.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
And I tell you, a lot of people are like, how are you fully staffed? And da 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 da. And I'm like, well, I got teenagers. They don't have a mortgage. They don't have,
yeah.
They don't have a car payment. Well, I mean, some of them probably do, but so they're here. Their parents, are a big part of our system. I have very, open door policy with parents. I wanted it family, and that was a big thing with Jake, the new owner, is to keep it family and to make everybody from the kids to the customer know that they're a part of this drive-in family.
And that's what's, again, going back to the community space, the familial setting is kind of built in to the drive-in. And you can really tell when a crew is happy and loving to be there. And
Yes.
You remember being that age, you're just looking for a job that is social, that is fun. And what could be more social and fun
Exactly.
than a drive-in movie theater? So
exactly. And see, in our area, our indoor theater closed in 2018. So we are the only movie theater.
Oh, wow.
Within, you have Hilton Head, but you've got to drive 30, 40 miles to get there.
Jeez Louise. Well, now I see why you guys are 7 days a week. That makes total sense. I'm thinking you got a Regal up the road and all sorts of competition. That's incredible.
It was, though, I will say, it was sad when the indoor, because, they were just an independent-owned cinema. And, so we depended on each other sometimes when, we couldn't get something or ran out of something. And everybody was always like, you got to be so ecstatic that they're closing. I'm like, no, we're really not, because I think y'all know this. Indoor movie people are indoor movie people. You're not really going to change their mind. But there's so many people that are like, I'd much rather watch, movies under the stars.
Yes.
Right.
And, so it didn't have, we saw an uptick in a lot of patrons coming in that were used to going to the indoor. And it always gives me like, I think of it as a challenge. Okay, I've got to turn these people into
drive-in people.
Yep, the drive-in people.
Yeah.
And, it's making them feel welcome, and they keep coming back to you.
Yeah.
And wow. I love them for that. I tell everybody, I've got such a huge customer base that supports so much, and we're just very blessed in that area.
Yeah, it sounds like a destined situation, just like our journey here at the Mahoning. The fact that you guys would come into this, your father and family running it, and now your husband having the passion for it. It sounds like it was meant to be.
Yeah, My husband, he's taken a step back now, because Jake owns it now, and my husband's a builder, so he works during the day
Right.
and everything, and he still comes around here and there, but trying to let Jake take the reins and showing him the drive-in life.
Yep.
It's important because this is his business now. And I couldn't say, I mean, he's just a great guy. He's very involved with our community. So I'm really happy with the choice that my parents did make. And, he backs me 100% on any decisions I make. He doesn't get in my way, or, he's just very supportive as the owner to me.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great.
It's the best case scenario,
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like the layout with the 3 screens, the love and passion into the offerings in the concession stand, the over-the-top service that you guys offer. There's a lot going for you guys. Is there any other choice kind of things about the theater that you would want to brag about?
Well, I always brag about our concessions because I put a lot of love into making our homemade stuff. We set up games. I am really hoping to get the new playground built soon. The county, we had 2 playgrounds up at Screen 1, but between the years and then Hurricane Matthew and everything, it kind of tore them up a little bit, and I didn't feel comfortable having kids playing on them, but hopefully we'll have that back. We also do a craft market one Saturday a month.
Beautiful.
Out here, and then a flea market on Sundays.
Vendors set up outside, tents, that whole deal.
Yeah.
Very.
We did a holiday market in December and had over 80 vendors out here.
Wow. Come on.
Way to go.
It sounds like you guys have all the opportunities. Being the only game in town, you could say, hey, if anything is movie themed, you're coming to us.
Well, and also, my stepdad, Joe, he gave me the gift of bartering. I always say my stepdad gave me the gift of bartering. My mom gave me the gift of gab. So with the digital projectors, when we went digital in 2012, it was kind of eye-opening for us because a few years later, I'm like, man, we should start doing advertising for small businesses here. If you try to go to your affiliate like NBC, your local stations, it costs so much money to the commercial. So what I did was I now have my nephew. He learned DCP-O-Matic, so he converts everything for me. And I do local advertising with the different businesses here. And, I had potholes like crazy, from the rain and everything. And so my local landscaper came out and I bartered a deal. Instead of, paying all this money, I only had to pay half of what they were going to charge me. And I put their ad on the screen. Yeah. My mosquito service. If you've ever been down here, we have mosquitoes galore. From the time, March comes, we're all into I should have gotten stock and bug spray. But so I barter with our local bug company, and then different organizations. And I believe this fall we're going to been wanting to do this for so long, and it's such a cool idea. But we're going to start doing gaming nights. And
by gaming nights, do you mean
video games?
Yes.
Come on, I love it.
Now, they made it so easy with the wireless remotes and all this stuff.
Yep.
So we're actually going to make a go of it. Since we do have 3 screens, we can use 1 screen for it, or 2, depending on what nights we do it. And my thought is because we have a huge Marine and Navy base here. So put the Marines against the Navy guys. And me and my brother-in-law works for the county sheriff's department, and Jake's the state trooper. I have plenty of security to, the guys, the deputy sheriffs and stuff here in Beaufort are really, really good to me, and the drive-in, they keep a good presence around here. So they donate their time a lot and help me out in any way I can. But I was thinking, you know what? we don't have much. They've taken everything. I always say they're turning us down into a retirement center and forgetting about the younger people here. So, why don't we have a gaming night?
So good.
And
Yeah.
Jake, he loves video games, and he was all about it when I was telling him about my ideas.
Yeah.
And so finally I got, the backing for it, and I think we're going to make a go of it this year.
So cool. We host a video game night, and we're planning to do a really big one this year. It's a blast. And, our whole thing is shining a light on not just the drive-in culture, but kind of cultures around that culture.
Right.
And the gaming world is humongous. So talk about, bringing in the attention of the younger audience.
I know, and I wish I had the time to get more into the games.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can remember having the Atari. My dad had an Atari. If you want to go way back. And
that's what I always say. It's like, if you challenge me to Super Nintendo, and I'll take you down.
Right? Exactly. I'm so excited for Super Mario Brothers to be coming out.
Oh my gosh. Well, the weird thing about first run movies is that they have kind of become these huge blockbusters, which for you guys is perfect. It really sets a stepping stone for your programming throughout the year.
Absolutely.
If they're doing their job right, of course.
Yeah, well, I have a great booker, Kurt Miller, Co-op Theaters. He's just fabulous with me. And, like I told him and my stepdads before, if it's not family, action, or military, please don't.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
It ain't for the highway.
Yeah. I mean, we're in such a diverse area. So I'll give you an example. For Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm bringing back Black Panther with it.
Yeah.
Because I still have people wanting to see Black Panther. And so that way I get everybody. Everybody has an option of what movie they're going to see. And usually with that type of stuff, I'll put it on 2 screens. So I'll do like Ant-Man and then Black Panther and then Black Panther and then Ant-Man. So everybody gets, an early time and then a later time. Because we're a huge hospitality town too. So we have a lot of food and beverage who doesn't get off till later.
So you got those late rollers coming in for movie 2?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So great. I love hearing a thriving
drive-in. It's a shame because when we first started the podcast, we talked about let's do a drive-in the news segment. And quickly we found out that it's 9 times out of 10, this drive-in's in trouble. This drive-in's being sold. This drive-in's, So to hear you guys kind of having a perfect situation there, it's truly inspiring for our future together,
Well, it wasn't always perfect. My mom and Joe, they worked day jobs. My mom sold flooring in Hilton Head, Bluffton. My stepdad, he installed it. Yeah. And after they got off work, they were here, and they really had to put the time, the energy, and the money into it. And I can always remember Joe saying, we didn't buy this to become rich. You don't own a drive-in to be rich. You do it for the community.
That's
and that's where our focus has always been. But through, I want to say, once we got each year that they owned it, got better. More in attendance, and then, man, after the 2010, we were booming, and then 2020 came and kind of put a wrench in our gear.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. How you said the theater had to close fully?
Well, at first, when they first announced all the closures, they did. And then luckily, one of our big supporters, Shannon Erickson, she's our local representative here. Yep. We reached out to her. She got in touch to the governor and got us back reopened. Now, we weren't able to open up concessions fully. Yep. So that's when we encouraged everybody, to go to your local eateries and, be patrons there, bring your food here, watch the movies. And, so it gave us an opportunity too to bring in some old school movies.
Oh yeah, so you guys went retro.
Oh yeah,
Everybody did during the pandemic.
Goonies. Man, I think my mom brought back the Rocky Horror Show.
Oh yeah,
Grease. We did a bunch of throwbacks.
so great.
And then of course being a part of Encore Nights and doing the virtual concerts out here, the graduations, private events out here that really helped us get through it.
It was a whole different vibe.
It was, and we learned a lot. We just tried to strive through it and
Yep.
make it work. That's all you really can do.
It's what you gotta do. Every year there's a challenge running any business, and the success is really how you react to those challenges. And when your back's against the wall and the world is facing the same challenge, and you're looked at as, kind of this savior and a place you can come and escape.
It was a true honor to be able to offer that to people who really needed that for their sanity. And that's carried over to this day.
Oh yeah. And you know what? The people with the indoors being closed, it gave people an opportunity to check out that drive-in. Let's see what drive-in's all about. And they fell in love with it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to always greet everybody coming in, telling them where to park and, this and that. But seeing some of the faces, so many faces that, before the pandemic, we never saw. But now we see them, at least twice a month.
Yeah.
And, that's where you see things and you're like, okay, we're doing it. We're
connecting. Something's sticking.
Yeah. We got it, And like I tell them, I'm like, no, where else are you going to watch movies under the stars at?
Oh, I can only imagine in that area too. It's just like, must be bliss. We really are. I'm going to come down for sure and make a point to visit because my lady has family in Georgia, not too far off.
Okay. So. Yeah, you get your funnel cake on me.
Oh my goodness. Come on. Heart-shaped with love. So cool.
All we gotta have is love, right?
That's right. Would you say that that's your best-selling item in the stand is the funnel cakes?
That is probably what, besides our burgers.
Yeah.
That is what we are most known for is the funnel cakes. I have people every weekend, every night that come in that are just coming in for the food. They're not coming for the movie. They just want to come
Doesn't matter what's planned. Came for the burgers.
Virgil, you got to tell Cara about the guy next door to us.
Oh my goodness. So we live kind of farmland, or the drive-in's place in farmland. And our neighbor comes putting over on his lawnmower to get dinner every night.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So he comes putting through
the gate and people are all looking like, what's going on? It's like, He's just hungry. He enjoys the burgers.
No, I always say he's the perfect customer because he doesn't take up a parking space. He buys our most high profit items and then he takes his garbage with him.
Exactly. Man, that's funny.
Yeah.
I haven't had lawnmower experience yet. But
what's been the exciting vehicles or craziness that's happened?
Oh man, we've had trucks. There's this one truck they'll bring in a love seat in the back.
Yes.
And they go to our side of the screen where nobody really parks on, and they just kind of park parallel and kick back and relax. I had 2018. July, it rained every single day, all night. And this one guy put a tarp in the back of his truck and made a pool for the kids to watch the movie in.
Genius. See?
But some of the ideas, the hammocks that you can hook up.
How cool are they? How cool, It's the camping culture has crossed over with us. And it's weird because I saw it was just only a couple days ago, Ford is patenting a kind of a drive-in mode for their upcoming vehicles. I'm sure you deal with that on a regular basis.
Man, I'm telling you, I tell everybody, I miss the 80s and the 90s where you just had to pull your lights in and push them back and,
every car worked the same.
Yeah, but now, my customers are really cool because they're like, we don't know how to do it. So they're like, can you come in and turn it off for us? And
You'll jump in for them.
yeah. So I mean, but it's cool though, because each car, now I found that Toyotas and Hondas are the easiest to override. You know, the park and brake,
Yep, easy bang.
override it. But it's like the Audis and, you know, some of these more high-end cars, and I'm like,
Specialty.
oh my gosh. But like I tell the customer, don't worry, I always have a fix for everything. I've got plates and
Yep,
painters.
bags. Right.
And
Anything
it's funny,
you can
I can tell who the regulars are because they bring their own plates in.
Like we got it covered, Miss Cara.
Yeah. Plus, we have radios that you can rent. You know, a lot of people worry, oh, I don't want my car to die. Well, we have radios that they can rent with an ID, and it's like $3.
Yeah.
And we have 2 different sizes, and you know, I have 2 battery packs. I always tell them, don't worry about the car. I got 2 battery packs. After 18 years, we've learned the tricks and the trades.
You're like, I'm here for you. I am
Yeah.
the queen at jumping a vehicle.
Exactly. And my local wrecker service is right around the corner, and him and his wife are always out here. So
Oh, they must love you.
yeah, so I'll call him, and he's like, "You need anything? Just holler at me." So you know, kind of I got a good world here.
That's so great. That's so great. Now
But yeah.
I'm just curious, because I know we all love it. What's the layout of the concession stand? 2-door entryway.
2-door entryway. We have these railings. My stepdad painted them red, but it goes down through, so kind of like careens you through.
Yep, the corral.
And yep, corral. Thank you. And they order at my where my popcorn maker is, and they just move their way down. And you know, we tell them, we'll bring your food out to the porch. Got my service window that we open up, because on our menus we have a we have a order form that you can fill out and hand it into the ticket window.
Wow.
And we'll just call you to come pick up and pay, and you don't even have to wait in the line.
You'll call their phone.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Talk about service.
I'm telling you, I wish more people would utilize those.
So you guys do by order. You're not grab and go self-serve.
No, we do everything by order. And for COVID, I actually have like all the fixings, you know, your lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, set up like barbecue picnic style, so they could put it on themselves, which made life really easy.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I think we all kind of became aware of, which I've always been kind of a germaphobe. So now we just, you know, we have everything cupped individually, and we, you know, put a sign up, ask upon request. But yeah, we do everything from making the funnel cake batter to pouring the funnel cakes to the burgers. I make an au jus that my burgers sit in.
Oh, stop.
So it's, you know, because there's no way that we could, on the busy nights, there's no way that we could keep up with as many burgers and stuff that we go through.
Sure.
So I pre-cook them before the night starts, and I make an au jus that they sit in. And so it's just like bam, bam, bam. You know, we do a smoked mesquite grilled chicken breast sandwich. Our sampler platter is probably one of the favorites. Sampler is, you know, my husband.
All the finger foods, the mozzarella sticks.
Yep, mozzarella sticks, pizza rolls, chicken nuggets, onion rings. We do a funnel cake sundae that everybody loves. So you got to try that.
Do hand served or soft served for the ice cream?
It's hand served.
Ah, so good.
Yeah.
So I imagine you got a good amount of room there as far as your cooking space, or are you tight?
We do. It's tight. I would love for it to be bigger, but being that we're in a cinder block building that was built in 1978, there's not a lot of room for expansion, but we make it work. And you know, it's worked for this long, so we just keep doing it.
So
Our grill and stuff is like set up on the back wall, so the customers, they get to see us cooking and the kids doing their thing, and you know, I think they enjoy it, because we're sitting here like almost balls to the wall, like, oh gosh, come on, let's go.
it's like seeing the crew really pushing for it.
I hear it all the time. All these kids don't want to work. Well, guess what? My kids work.
Yeah, you're like, look at these kids and tell me they don't want to work. Well, I drive the interview, but I want to give Jeff and Mark, of course, the opportunity to ask you some questions from what you're doing.
Yeah, Cara, I've got one for you. on the technical side of things.
Mhm.
Of course, we're still running 35 millimeter film. Now, your digital projectors, do you have the older models, or do you have some of the newer ones? And basically, I'm curious, how are they holding up?
We have Barcos, and I call them my beast. My stepdad and my dad. I know it sounds really funny, stepdad, dad, but we all work together, and they took care of that part. So I had to learn that in January of 21,
Ooh.
and it was eye-opening. But
Yeah.
they're so much fun now, and they're still in really good condition. You know, we got those in 2012. My stepdad found a really good deal on them. They only had like, I think, 6 hours on them.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Saved
Yeah.
a bunch of money by doing that. So, but I love the Barcos. I'm actually out at the drive-in conference this past week. I was down there and I was talking with Joe from Barco and about converting over because I really want to go to laser.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, just being able to learn about it and everything. So trying to figure out, you know, do we want to do the retrofit, or the retrofit is a lot more cost saving,
Effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, but they're still in really good shape. And, you know, over the years, I've really gotten to know them.
The nice thing with the Barcos, just like anything else, you know, once you ride it for a little while, you start to get a feel for their settings, their layout, you know, and working with that type of machine. I see what you mean. Wanting to stick with Barco.
It's so easy to, you know, everything's automated. So they go up and on by themselves.
Wow.
Right. The timers. Yeah. The timers.
Yeah. I mean, it helps me a lot because I'm out in the yard, running, making
Right.
sure everybody's parked right, lights are on. And two of our screens, screen 2, we don't have the hill elevations. So I have to stack cars, you know, from small to large.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the summertime, screen 2, I always say it's my nightmare.
It's a constant chess game, seeing
Yeah.
who needs to move where.
Exactly. But no, I love the Barcos. They've been very good to me. They've been very nice to me.
Good. I'm glad they're holding up. Good.
Yeah. But I would really like to switch over to laser. There'll be a lot of cost saving on that too over the years.
Not having to change a bulb again. Get out of here.
I'm telling you, I go nervous with those. You know, my stepdad always says, "Cara, you got this. You can do this." And you know, it's still a little bit of self-doubt, like, oh, if I touch the bulb wrong, I'm gonna
Explosion. Yeah.
Yeah.
It costs so much money. And, you know, so one little mistake that I do, I could, you know, cost us a night of movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but no, I like the Barcos. They're really good.
That's great.
Good. Great. Good.
How about you, Mark? Any questions for Cara?
One thing I wonder is, what's your audience age range? Your average on an average night. Does it depend on film, or do you get mostly like a youthful crowd, mostly an older crowd?
13 to 70s. A Man Called Otto came out. I never imagined that I would be stopped by the older people telling me, "Thank you for bringing the old people's movie and playing it first." So I have one screen that's set up, you know, for older people, and then I have Puss in Boots and Megan on screen 2, and A Knock at the Cabin on screen 1. So I mean, literally, I have something for everyone, you know. So our age range really is wide open. The Marines, they're not allowed to like go to the bars and stuff and out in town and stuff. So they're basically like stuck in their barracks. So I've seen a huge uptick in young Marines and college kids. We have, you know, USCB, University of South Carolina, Beaufort.
Yeah.
Technical College of Low Country. So we get a lot of, and I work with them. You know, they do like movie nights, excursions for their families when they do family times. And
Oh, so great.
so I work with, you know, the local schools and stuff. And then, of course, I get tons of teenagers. I'm very, I welcome the young people because that's what's going to really keep us going, you know, and love it.
Future.
They have to hang out with their parents. They can go meet up with their friends and watch whatever movie they want.
Very few things on this planet, you know, are ageless. There has an appeal from such a wide range, and we see it every single night. It's the passing on of the culture, the passing on of the memories.
I love seeing that line of chairs that you can just see it. That's
I know.
grandparents, parents, their kids. It's
Yeah.
the whole run.
It's so cool, and we still see that. I love seeing the grandparents bringing out the grandkids,
Yes.
and just seeing the eyes of the kids,
You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right
Yeah.
thing. Sounds like your
Yeah.
heart is all in it. And that's the secret.
This is I love this place. When I was really crushed when my parents told me that they were selling, because this is going to be mine. So it took me a little time to understand and come to terms with, okay, but I tell you, Jake has been just awesome and making sure that it stays, a local favorite.
That's beautiful.
Good. That's
You
good.
couldn't
Yeah.
ask for much more, It's everything's a gamble now in this world, and to have some sort of sense of security with your setups is really a beautiful thing. Well, why don't you tell the people where they can find you? You do any of the social media stuff,
Oh, yeah.
any of that? Yep.
We're on Facebook and Instagram. Highway 21 Drive-In is
You
our
abbreviate it, the HWY.
Yep, HWY 21 Drive-In, and we're located in Beaufort, South Carolina. It's right around the corner from Hilton Head, Charleston, Savannah.
Beautiful
But
area.
yes, very beautiful. But we're huge presence on Facebook, and I have all my kids doing the TikToks.
You got to keep your finger on the pulse, right?
Jake, he'll come on live and stuff out here and interviewing the customers and everything. So we have a big
it's so
presence
great.
on the social media, on Facebook especially. They can go on our website and they can book online. So there's different options because these kids today, they always have their phone in their hand.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, we're moving to online ticketing too, because that opened up a big area for us.
Yeah, the days of the newspaper advertising's behind us.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad, but that's what it is. You just got to kind of move on with the times and
That's right.
keep going forward. But anytime all I got to do is just go on the Facebook. Everything's updated. Go on our website, highway21drivein.com, and you'll be able to see what's playing, the dates, times. You can even watch a trailer.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, be sure to show them some love. All you guys listening to this, give them a like, give them a follow. And next time you're in the area, be sure to swing in. I mean, I need to get my hands on this funnel cake.
I know. That's what we're famous for.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
Yeah, but whenever y'all come, just make sure you pull me aside.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm always at the gate. I'm always the one that's, welcoming all the cars in and telling them where to go. So just say hi. Or how we say it down here, hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
You are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. So excited that we could have you on and share in the love of the drive-in experience with you. And again, anybody out there, be sure to check them out, and can't wait to get out there.
Well, thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Giving the spotlight to our little drive-in here in Beaufort, South Carolina.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. Keeping the culture alive, baby.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, on that note, Jeff, take it away, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for coming out tonight to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. We hope you'll come back and see us again real soon. The exit is on the right-hand side of the screen at the front of the field, and most importantly, have a very safe trip home. Good night, and God bless you.